Hey everyone, Leo with the Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Jolly Jointed Skeleton. Now, this is a throwback to back in the day. I'm sure many of you have had the joy of buying one of those jointed skeletons and posing his arms and using it as obviously a piece of home decor for Halloween. Now today we're gonna make our own. This is a great little project to get the kids involved with too, since it's mostly paper piecing, and then we're just going to use a series of brads to connect all the bones together. So I've got everything cut out here in front of me, and as you can see, well, it's literally just paper piecing, and we're going to be, well, each segment is 2 layers thick, just so that, you know, it's a little more heavy duty. So what we're going to first start off by doing is finding the 2 pieces that correspond and just gluing them together. Okay, so we'll begin by just putting glue on, this is the right foot / leg, and just try to work that glue out to the very edge as far as you can go, and just line that up. And this is where I'm going to break out my brayer. It's going to help the process along a lot quicker. Okay, so we got the 2 layers together, and then we just take the foot. You'll notice that we have little holes, and that actually not only makes room for the brad, but also helps you figure out the placement for each of these sections. Okay, so I'm just gonna get the glue onto his leg here and his foot, and then we'll just apply that. We'll start off by lining it up with the little hole for the brad, and then make sure you leave a nice even border around the rest of it, like so. Okay, very simple. And then I'm just using my brayer to get that all nice and connected. I'm gonna pop that underneath my mat so it dries nice and flat. And I'm just gonna move along here and continue the same process with the rest of the bones. So you can see how this is gonna be a very kid-friendly project. I think anybody of any age can get this done. It's quick. We're only using, if you just make the skeleton itself, it's literally just black and white. Now obviously we jazzed it up with, well, we used glitter, like a white glitter. I also inked it with a little bit of lime around the perimeter, just to give it a little more of a vintagey look. But that's up to you. You can totally make it your own. Okay, and in this one here, we've got 2 holes that we need to line up. So just make sure that you get the placement correct. Okay, so there's that bone. Put that underneath the mat, and I'm just kind of grabbing whatever I see first and going to town. Let's see how quickly we can get this done. But yeah, I should probably get the kids involved in this one. Maybe cut out a couple more and make this project with them. I'm very excited for Halloween this year. I'm going up to Eagle River up in Wisconsin, and on actually September 30th, we get to experience our first haunted house. We've been taking them to haunted houses for what seems like 3 years now, and they are fearless. I've gone to so many haunted houses already, and they just love Halloween. They're the kind of kids that, if you could, you'd probably play ghosts in the graveyard in an actual graveyard. Okay, so that one's there, and I'm just moving right along here. You can see how quickly this is going to go, and the fun part is that he's kind of animated. You know, we're going to use the brads to join all the bones together, and then you'll do a little jig. Okay, there we go. And get that piece in place, grab the actual bone, and get our glue on there. And again, with this one, we need to line up 2 holes. So make sure that you get those both lined up accurately, and that will automatically help you with the correct placement too, so it's nice. All right, I just keep popping those underneath my mat so that as they're drying, they maintain a nice flatness to them. And we've got another bone here. Just popping the 2 layers on top of each other. There we go. And I'll grab our glitter part. I might have hit that with a little too much glue. Okay. And just line that up as accurately as you can. Press down. I had a little glue shoot out there, but that's okay. Okay, there we go. Pop that underneath my mat. And moving along here, just a few more pieces, and then of course we're gonna work on the main body, but that's not really any different, to be honest. It's just larger. And then we got a little hat. This is kind of cool. This is almost like it's kind of got like a little bit of a Grateful Dead vibe to it. I don't know how many of you out there like the Dead. I'm quite the fan, I'd say. Especially, I liked them before, and I always liked John Mayer. And John now is part of Dead & Company. But I am kind of a hippie at heart, so that all makes sense. All right, so we've got one more large piece, the leg here. And I'm trying to get the glue out to the edge as much as possible, just so that it really stays put. I'm not overdoing it on the glue either. And just lining everything up nicely, kind of feeling and making sure that everything is sitting nice and aligned. I'll grab his leg and his foot. And we'll get that glued into place. I got a little bit too much down there. I'm gonna just kind of dab some of that off. Okay. And I'm gonna begin over here with the hole first. And then the rest of it will kind of fall into place. Get that glue out of there. There we go. Wonderful. You can see how that, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, I'm sure when you see the actual picture, you'll see how, given that little bit of that lime green that I added to the edge of the bones, kind of just makes it blend nicely. It softens it a little bit and makes it a little more interesting, a little more ghoulish, if I do say so myself. Okay, so we'll get that lined up. And you can see just from doing this now how easy this would probably be for a child to do. So this is definitely one of those projects that you can do with a young one, especially considering that I know that Halloween it's become quite the adult holiday, but it's still the biggest part of it is centered around kids. So let's get them involved, especially, who knows, I know there's crazy lockdowns in some places in the country and all over the world. Get them into that craft room and make something with them. Okay, so on to the main body here. And just like with the other bones, we've got 2 layers. Now, one of these layers has a series of little score marks all over the place. Make sure that that is your top layer. We're gonna use those. It's gonna help us to get some of the little bones aligned. Okay, so we've got a lot of surface area to work with here, so we gotta try to make this quick before the glue starts to dry. Just kind of doing little circles. Try to get it all the way out to the bottom, along the ribs. Okay, that's good. And just line up that top hole. That's the little hole we're gonna use to actually hang him from. I mean, you can always put some tape on the back if you want. Get that lined up nicely. Almost, there we go. And just use my brayer, press that down. I'm gonna start off with the main part here, just because it's a lot easier to get this aligned. Okay, so let's get our glue on this part here. We've got a lot of little details here. It's not vital that you get glue on every single inch of this, but definitely do your best to cover as much as you can so you don't have any parts just kind of hanging loose there. And luckily with this glitter, the back of this is not as porous, so it gives me a little extra time to work with the glue. And I'm just kind of hitting this with my finger so none of that goes shooting out. So with this guy, we're going to align the top of the hat. This actually goes on flush, completely covering it. Making sure that we get that lined up, because if we do, the rest of it literally just drops into place like that, as you can see there. And just press that down. Beautiful. That worked out nicely. Now we've got these are the collarbones, I believe. And you'll see here on this piece there are little markers to indicate where that goes. So just throw a couple little drops of glue on the back of this and use the little markers there to help you with the positioning of this bone. And I got a little bit of glue on there, badly-o. Okay, and then we go with this one here. Easy with the glue. And pop that right into place. You can use the brayer if you want. And then we've got his pelvis and his hips. Get our glue on this section and pop that into place. There's two little holes where we're going to anchor the legs ultimately, so we're going to use that as a guide. We don't necessarily have any markers for that, or do we? No, we don't. They're not needed. Okay, just match that up with the holes. It kind of helps to hold it up so you can see through the hole. And I'm being a little sloppy here. Oops. Move that over a tiny bit. There we go. There we go. If you had a little bit of glue that shot out, just scrape it off or rub it off. It's fine. It's a skeleton. He's a little dirty anyway. Okay, next we're going to take the top hat and get that glued into place. That is going down flat. Get your glue on there. Just like that. And we're gluing cardstock to glitter. So this is oftentimes a little challenging because glitter paper isn't really very conducive to grabbing things. So if you're doing the same thing, you're going to want to apply a little extra pressure for a few extra seconds and just make sure that that really gets a hold. Okay, I really have to push this down. But I'm going to go ahead and actually, you see that? It doesn't even want to stay. It will. Once the glue gets to a certain consistency, it won't let go. But it is kind of giving me a tough time right now. Now it's starting to stick. I'll probably use the brayer so I don't blemish this with my gluey fingers. I'm gonna put this underneath my mat and let that really dry. And while we do that, I'm gonna put something heavy over it. Put a candle on there. Let's put together the little bow while we wait for that. So to make the bow, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a dowel and put one of the loops between my finger and the dowel, and then just take it, bend it 90 degrees, and just run your finger through it. Or run the dowel through it, I should say, just to kind of make it look like that. Okay, then you'll notice that we do have little tabs here on the ends. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put glue on this little tab. Then we're gonna take this and bring it in and just press that down in the center there. You can kind of pretend that there's another rectangle in the center between these two loops, okay? And that's where you want to glue that to. So I'm going to do the same thing with this tab here. We'll take that and fold it over on top of the previous tab from the other loop, and that's going to create our little bow. Okay, so just press that down and hold it for a moment. Okay, beautiful. And then we have this little strip here, and what we're going to do with that is we're just going to put it on top right in the center, and then there's no score lines on this. You're just gonna fold it over like that. Okay, and then we're gonna take and apply a little bit of glue right to the back of that, and then take this and flip it right on top of itself and press and hold that down. Okay, and that's gonna create the little bow. And we also have a little 3D flower here. I'm gonna take a very thin dowel and I'm gonna curl these petals towards me. So I'm grabbing the petal between my finger and the dowel, and then I'm curling it towards me just to kind of train it a little bit so it's round and not so flat. Okay, and then we have, where'd it go? We have this little green piece. It's gonna go in the center. So just a little dot of glue in the center is all you really need. And then just pop that green piece right in the center there. Just like that. Is that centered? And we have these little tendrils here. And what I'm gonna do is just take a very thin dowel and just kind of curl them. You can kind of curl them at the end, like that. Okay, so we have a total of 4 of these, and I'm just gonna curl the tips, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue these to the back of the flower, and I can always curl them more later on if I want. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the flower over so we're looking at the back of it, and I'm just gonna put some glue right there. Then we're gonna take these and just kind of crisscross them like that. And you can always use a little dowel to kind of hold them in place. Just press this down with a dowel. Really get that in there, let it set. Okay, and then once we have it like that, we can take and curl these even more and just kind of play with them a little bit. You can curl some out towards you, some away from you. And I would recommend kind of giving them a nice tight curl like that. Okay. And it just looks kind of fun. And then maybe on some of them, maybe use a thicker dowel so it's not all the same. Actually, that one didn't even do anything. I might use a thinner dowel actually. And really give it a good curl. That's cute. Okay, so our flower's ready. We just have one more little piece to put on the top hat. There's a little panel that goes on there. And then we can start kind of putting them together. Okay, let's grab our little dude here. Okay, and as I mentioned, there's a little band that sits right here, coordinates with his where's that go? It goes right there, just below these little cutouts here. So you want to kind of hug those little cutouts. And then we can join everything together. And we'll finish it off by putting our little bow and our little flower in place. Kind of finish off the look, but he looks great. All right, time to get our bones out. I'm sure I got all of them. Nope. Okay, this is the fun part here. So I guess it really doesn't matter what kind of brads you use. I think it might be good to use maybe the biggest brads you can find. Okay, so obviously we want to find, I'm missing a femur. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're gonna going like this. And it's going like this. So these big bones are going this way. That's right, like that. Okay, so we're just gonna put these, stick the brad right through there. And pop that right through there. And you're just gonna take and separate these. And that's it. That part a child can definitely do. And I think that's probably the most exciting part is putting our little skeleton guy together. Just get those brads in there, separate these little guys, just like that. Now let's find, okay, this foot's here, this foot's here. Let's get our brads going there. I could see this as like the centerpiece or the center of like a cool Halloween wreath that maybe you're working on if you're looking for something to kind of, you know, to make the focal point of a beautiful wreath. You could do that, or this would be great just as a standalone sort of thing. Okay, so now we need the little arms. You're gonna go like this. Okay, just like that. And then we've got this guy here, and then this guy here. So let's get those in place. And, all right. Pop that in there, spread those apart. Get the next one. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, I would say. Okay, and finally our hands. There we go. And just spread that apart. And the last one. And you want to put those layers on top, not underneath. There we go. Just twist those a little bit so you don't see them from the front. And again, if you're using smaller brads, you won't even need to worry about seeing these at all, probably. Okay, but there he is. How cute is that? Okay, beautiful. And finally, if you want, you can use a little pop dot to, I'll use a foam square. I think that'll fit nicely on the back there. Elevate it just a tad, give it a little bit of extra dimension. And his bow tie is going to go on the third little vertebrae there. That's cute. And then finally, we'll flip this guy over, and I'm going to find a smaller little foam square. I got these, I think I got these on Amazon. I hate to say it, but I did. And this guy is going to go right here. Right at the base of that little guy there. Okay, and then you just kind of squeeze these together, just kind of scrunch them up. And that's it, guys. Very, very simple little project. Probably about 30 minutes maybe after you get everything cut out. So hour of your day to create something super cool. Definitely has a vintagey flair to it, and I know it's gonna find a beautiful little spot, a spooky little spot in my home. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, and also hit that bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our Spooky Time bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, where you can join myself and the 32,000+ other dreamers that inspire us daily. So happy Halloween almost, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.